Thank you, Chairman Tonko, particularly for that hard-working remark. Thank you.
It's true.
Today, the committee is continuing its ongoing work to ensure all Americans have access to safe and clean drinking water. And when you think about it, there's no more basic necessity in our lives than drinking water. We all need to be able to trust that when we turn the tap on, our faucets, the water coming out is safe for us and for our families. Unfortunately, for far too long, we failed to properly invest in our aging drinking water infrastructure. And as Chairman Tonko mentioned, the American Society of Civil Engineers just last year gave our nation's water infrastructure a C- grade, and that's simply unacceptable for a nation as prosperous as ours. Fortunately, last November, this Congress acted by passing the bipartisan infrastructure law, which included $30 billion to strengthen and rebuild our drinking water infrastructure. And this is the single largest federal investment in our drinking water infrastructure in our nation's history. Specifically, the law provides over $11 billion to bolster the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, our main funding mechanism for drinking water projects, and the Drinking Water SRF provides flexibility to states to address pressing drinking water challenges. It's imperative that we leverage this flexibility to ensure that we're lifting up communities. And while the SRF has been a critical lifeline, there are many small, rural, and underserved communities that face barriers to access this federal funding source. Our ranking member mentioned that. And those communities, which often have the greatest needs, will benefit from additional resources and assistance, and we should ensure that they can tap into them. Now, the bipartisan infrastructure law also includes $15 billion to help accelerate the inventory and removal of lead service lines, which is one of my priorities as chairman. Earlier this year, I was pleased to see Newark, and we have Director Adim here representing Newark in my home state. They completed their efforts to replace all of the lead service lines. But millions of other Americans and other places are being exposed to lead in drinking water through lead service lines. And this is extremely troubling considering that there is no safe lead exposure level. All these lead pipes must be replaced. And this funding will provide a huge boost in our efforts to finally address the longstanding issue of lead in drinking water. The law also allocates $9 billion to remove dangerous PFAS chemicals, also known as forever chemicals, from drinking water. And this funding will help water systems clean up PFAS contamination that's becoming more prevalent and is linked to adverse health effects. This investment will accelerate current infrastructure projects and kickstart new, often costly projects. So with the bipartisan infrastructure law, we're not only modernizing our infrastructure in a more resilient way for the future, but we're also strengthening our local economies. With provisions to expand the use of American iron and steel and prevailing wage protections, the bipartisan infrastructure law will help create good-paying jobs across industries and bolster domestic manufacturing. But as I said, clean, safe drinking water is, in my opinion, a fundamental right. And the bipartisan infrastructure law provides our nation with the necessary resources to take a long overdue step towards making safe drinking water a reality for all, including disadvantaged communities that have been disproportionately impacted by environmental contamination. I just wanted to take a minute to say that I appreciate all our witnesses today, but especially Newark's Water and Sewer Utilities Director, Karim Adim. Thanks to his leadership, along with the mayor, Mayor Baraka, and Governor Murphy and our congressional delegation, Newark successfully completed the replacement of all of its lead lines earlier this year. And I really want to commend you for your work, Director Adim. Mayor Baraka made this a major point that he wanted to do this. You know, Congress helped in other ways. We actually had to redirect some of the funds from the Clean Water Act with legislation that I had introduced in the House, and Senator Booker championed in the Senate, and Donald Payne also. I'd have to mention Congressman Payne, who represents Newark. But I still think it was amazing that you did this so quickly, that you were able to do it so quickly. It really was amazing. So thank you again, and thank you for being here. We have an incredible opportunity to build resilience and invest in the future of communities. We also have an opportunity to continue to work on bipartisan basis to ensure these funds have a long-lasting impact, which is why Chairman Tonka is having this hearing today. And while this funding is a critical step in closing the resource gap for drinking water, there's a lot more we can do and should do to ensure that every person can trust the water that's coming out of the tap. So thank you again, Chairman Tonko. This is a very important hearing. I yield back.